Hi, everybody. I'm Laurie Rowe, and I'm so excited to be with you this evening as we do our weekly training with Team Elevate. I am really excited about tonight's topic because I am a former event planner and I love talking about events. And tonight I get the joy of sharing with you about the importance of attending our annual Doterra Convention. And maybe you have been on the fence about whether or not you go to convention. Maybe you think, oh, I have kids to take care of. Oh, it costs a lot of money. My business is going fine without convention. Or maybe you're just thinking, I'm not all that into convention. I don't like people. I don't like listening to people talk, or I don't like crowds, or whatever it is. Or maybe you're going to convention already and you're just like, what am I signed up for? What am I into? Maybe you've signed up and you're on the fence about maybe canceling. So I want to give you some perspective about why convention is so important and what it can do for you, not just personally, but also for your business. And I want to share with you some examples of what I've seen personally happen at convention and how it's impacted my business. But before we talk about convention, I want to kind of give you some perspective about the importance of industry-specific events. Because I think sometimes, especially in the network marketing world, we have annual conventions that we attend and we think, oh, it's just a bunch of hoopla, a bunch of excited, energetic people. And maybe I don't want to be a part of that, or maybe that's not my speed. But from some perspective that I want to add, maybe it will help open your eyes to why it's important to participate in events like this. And really, I think what makes Doterra's annual convention really unique. So I have had a rich career in my lifetime, and I've been in 3 completely different industries, and I want to share with you that in every single industry that I've been a part of, we've had industry-specific events. I spent the majority of my career in the publishing industry, and annually we had one massive convention that anybody that was really serious about publishing attended. And that went not just for publishing executives like myself, but it was also our authors, and it was booksellers, it was literary agents, anybody that was in the publishing industry. They wanted to attend this event, and you were really not taken seriously if you had not attended this event annually. And then I shifted over into the apparel industry. I had a clothing store, and about 4 times a year I went to market. And market is where you go to purchase, to buy your goods for the season that is going to be 6 to 12 months down the road. And you, again, weren't taken seriously if you didn't attend market. You could always have sales reps that would come to your store or come to your community, and you could buy from them, or you could do phone orders. But the telling answer to this question, where do you go to market, was what gave you credibility. And I cannot tell you how many people would come into my store and say, where do you go to market? Where do you buy? And the answer to that question for those people would tell them if I was a serious clothing store owner or not. And then the third industry that I've been a part of is the higher education industry. And again, guess what? Industry-specific conventions. And you went to these conventions to rub shoulders with other professionals, to learn from the best of the best, people that were really on their A game in that industry. And you were considered, again, very much a professional if you went to those events. And so I share that to let you know that going to Doterra's annual convention really, in my opinion, shouldn't be an option. If you are this serious about your business, it should be something that is just a part of how you do your business. And the reason for that is because of what happens at convention. And so I want to give you 5 things that I think are really important takeaways from Doterra's annual convention based on my experience of not just being at convention, but also my experience with other events that I've participated in other conventions. And so if you want to take out a sheet of paper and number them 1 through 5, then you'll get an idea of what I'm going to share. And if you're listening to this in your car or wherever, then try to memorize these, because I think it's really important to know these 5 points. So the first reason I think it's important to go to Doterra's annual convention is because of the content. The content that you're going to get at Doterra's annual convention is you're only going to get it there. It's not something that's broadcast. It's not something that is repeated over and over again. It's not something that's put in curriculum that you can then take and learn. it is shared at the convention, and it's exclusive content. Now, you might get bits and pieces of it here and there, or somebody might upload a video of a particular speaker, but in its entirety, you're only going to get it at convention. What kind of content would this be? You're going to hear from doctors, you're going to hear from other professionals in the medical community, you're going to hear from all of the executives from Doterra, you're going to hear from scientists, chemists, farmers, people that are a part of bringing the oils into the community in which we then can go out and sell them. And I think that this context that we get from this content is really important. So Doterra's convention is not going to be a convention that focuses on how to run a successful business. It's not a convention about how to have a good Essential Oils 101 class. This is a convention that focuses on really groundbreaking new content that you need in order to run your business. Some examples that I would love to give you from things that I learned. And by the way, I'm over here looking at my notes. I really took to heart the content that I learned from the medical community, because I'm not medical, but obviously we are working in an industry now that is disrupting healthcare. And so in order for us to be on our A game, we really want to understand more about what's going on at the chemical level in our bodies and from a scientific perspective. That taps into a part of my brain that I'm really uncomfortable with. And so I loved that at convention, we got to hear from a variety of people. And, I didn't really connect with the chemists that were breaking down all of the components to essential oils, but I learned from the narrative, from the stories that medical professionals were able to share, because I'm a storyteller. And so one of the examples of something that I really took to heart and have used it in my business, was a medical professional that did research in the with our On Guard. And you may have heard a little bit about this study. She took a particular type of bacteria that grows in hospital settings and in clinical settings, and she took a piece of that, or a portion of that bacteria, she put it on a stainless steel environment in the hospital setting, and then she took On Guard, a drop or two of On Guard in a 32-ounce container of water, and she sprayed that bacteria every day for 7 days. And at the end of the 7 days, that bacteria was 99.9% dead, gone. And to understand the significance of this is to understand that this same bacteria, hospitals and medical professionals cannot kill it. They've not been able to tap into the way that this bacteria can be killed. They've only been able to put it into dormancy. And dormancy. And so the significance of being able to kill this bacteria is mind-blowing. Well, that was a story that she told, and I really resonated with that, and I put that to memory, that content, and I tell that story in every single class that I am teaching. I also tell that story to people that I just meet and to medical professionals that I interact with. And that is kind of like an opener for me, and it gets their attention. And had I not been to convention, I would have never heard that story. And that is content that you need, that you can use to build your business. I have sold medical professionals on that story alone. They have become customers of mine. So the content that you're going to get at Doterra's annual convention is exceptional content that you need to grow your business. The second reason that you want to go to convention is because of the people that you're going to interact with. Now, you know that Team Elevate is an amazing team. We have great leaders. We have great people starting all the time in this business. And I love that at convention, we get to meet each other. We get to put names, faces, and voices together. We get to hear from other people. One of the things I also love about this team is that we usually, when we do events, we get Airbnbs. And so many of us get to sleep under the same roof. Now, sometimes you might not like sleeping under the same roof as people you don't know. But let me tell you why that's so fun and important to your business. When you get to go home with people at the end of the day, not just be with them in a conference setting, when you get to go home with them and you get to break bread together, you get to go to meals together, you get in your jammies, and you get to, kind of have like that campfire environment together, you get to know people. You get to talk about your families. You also get to learn about their businesses. You can mastermind problems together. You can learn from them about what's working for them. And there may be things that you're doing in your business that can help other people and help them grow their business. And so not only do we get to laugh together, sometimes we cry together, we share stories about what is going on in our lives. And it really helps us create that community that we can then continue throughout the next 12 months until the next time we get to go together, you get to be together. And so I love that aspect of doTERRA's annual convention, that we get to build community with the relationships of people that we're interacting with. But, on top of that, there's people that you're going to get to meet that are not a part of Team Elevate. I got to stand in line last year with a woman who was building an organization in Denver, and we stood in line for probably 30 minutes together, and we loved getting to know each other. And now we're friends on Facebook. I watch her educational videos, and I've learned so much from her. And I love that. I love meeting other people that are doing this business. And not only am I learning from them, but I'm also developing authentic relationships with them. And let's face it, we get lonely in our virtual businesses. And so being able to have other business partners that we can learn from, I think, is really key and critical. The other thing I loved was that last year I got to spend some time with a high school friend that I haven't seen in like over 20 years. And she has a business in Oklahoma, and we got to connect in Utah and spend a few minutes reconnecting and rekindling our friendship. And now we also are encouraging each other along in our businesses long distance. So in addition to great content, you also have the opportunity to build really great relationships when you go to convention. The third reason I love convention is because of the recognition that gets to take place. Now, maybe you are not really into recognition. Maybe, I know people that are like, I would never want to walk on stage and be recognized for my hard work. That's totally fine. If you fall into that category, you're fine. But there is some really incredible and exciting momentum that takes place when you get to rally around your leaders or your friends, your colleagues, and recognize them for a job well done. So every year at convention on Wednesday night, there is a black tie gala. It is accompanied with a really great meal that has essential oils infused into the food. And at this gala, at the end of the gala, we have a huge recognition for the diamonds, blue diamonds, and presidential diamonds. They walk down a purple carpet, and then everybody in the audience throws confetti on them, and we are rallying around them and recognizing them for the job well done, for achieving a new rank and success in their business. And like I said, maybe it's not that motivating for you. Maybe it is. But regardless of where it is, it's so fun to be able to be a part of a team and see other people that have put hard work into their business and see them be successful. But even if you aren't into recognition, or even if you aren't being recognized, or maybe even your upline isn't being recognized, what I really love about watching people be recognized at convention is that you see the diversity. You see that there is not one size that fits all people for success. And so my husband likes to make a joke that if you have long blonde hair, and if you have a husband, and if you have 7 children, then you can be on the front of the doTERRA Leadership magazine. And by the way, if that fits you, no judgment here. But it's easy for us to think that success in doTERRA looks a certain way. But when you see all the people recognized at convention, you realize, no, you can have tattoos all over your body. You can have purple hair. You can be 300 pounds. You can be 20 pounds. You can be in a wheelchair. You can be walking. You can be bicycling down that red carpet. Whatever it is, if you've put in the hard work and you've done your business the way that it's prescribed, you will be successful. And seeing that at convention is really, really exciting. So you want to go to convention because of the content, because of the relationships you can build, because of the recognition that you get to be a part of. But you also get to see the humanitarian side of doTERRA. doTERRA has so many so many is a strong word. We have a handful of humanitarian partners that we work with. And I love that we get to see this side up close and personal when we're at convention. And so sometimes you'll see it through videos, but last year we got to see it really in a practical way. doTERRA set out a goal to break a world record for assembling the most feminine hygiene packets in a certain period of time. And so a group of people they signed up ahead of time, and on one of the afternoons during convention, they went to a a specific area, and they assembled feminine hygiene packets for women that are in third world countries that don't have access to menstruation supplies. And we broke a world record. We assembled, I think, more than 5,000 packets for women. And it took a little bit of every type of skill set, whether you were cutting out fabric, whether you were the seamstress at the sewing machine, whether you were stuffing packets, whether you were counting. It took an entire team. But the point is that people gathered together for a cause, and together they were able to accomplish great things. And I love that doTERRA is really committed to not just talking about humanitarian efforts and putting money into humanitarian efforts, but actually facilitating and then executing humanitarian efforts. So not only are you going to have content, recognition, relationships, humanitarian stuff, but the fifth reason that you want to go to doTERRA's convention is because you are going to leave empowered. And I think more than anything, that when you combine those first four things together and you recognize that those accumulate into incredible empowerment, you're going to leave Salt Lake City and you are going to get on an airplane or drive your car, and you are going to want to go out and you're going to want to change the world. And I tell you that because I've seen it happen in my own life. And what happens when you get that content in your brain, and when you see what is happening with other people and you develop these relationships, so you want to go out, you want to go back to your community, and you want to change lives. You have a story to tell. And not only are you telling a story, but you are a part of the doTERRA story. And people want that. People want to know, what is the doTERRA story? Where do I fit into that? Where do you fit into that? And, when you come back from doTERRA's annual convention, there's a little bit of like you got to come off that high. And I'm going to be honest with you. Last year when I came back, the following month, my October, was actually a really rough month for me because I wasn't sure what to do with all of this information that I had gleaned, and I wasn't sure. I saw the success and I wanted to have it like instantly. But that October propelled me into an amazing November. And from that point on, my business has just soared. And so statistically speaking, doTERRA has done some research, and they have found that individuals that attend the annual convention are versus individuals that don't attend convention. Those individuals that do will earn $9,500 more on average than people that don't attend convention. And so to me, that's a really compelling business reason, apart from like just all of the good stuff. But from a financial perspective, if you know that you can take all of the content that you learned and be empowered and go out and change lives, and it will add to your bottom line as a business and as a family, why not do that, right? But what comes along with empowerment is also a level of credibility. When I referenced before the different industries that I've been a part of and those conferences that I've attended and the credibility that comes from them, the same thing happens in your doTERRA business. When people find out, oh, she's been to this big convention and she's learned about all these studies and she's heard from doctors, guess what? It's credibility. And people are looking to you to be credible. I think that they will buy essential oils from people because they're curious about them and they want to know them, want to know about those oils, but they're going to keep buying from you because you're credible, because you educate them, because you are engaging them in the overall health benefits of essential oils. And I think in order for you to be credible, you have to continually expose yourself to the education that is available to you, not just from our team, but from corporate, so that you can be empowered and have that credibility. That's what convention does for us. So what are some practical things that you need to know about convention? Convention is in Salt Lake City. It is held the end of September. You can find the dates on our website. I think it's September 19 through 21. And depending on whose team you're a part of, I know that lots and lots of leaders on this team are renting out Airbnbs, and I know that they probably all still have room. That's a great way to offset the costs for convention. You do probably want to budget maybe somewhere between $800 to $1,200 for convention. It sounds like a lot, but if you're earning on average an additional $9,500 over the next 12 months, and you take off that $1,000, then that's still going to net you a good amount of money, and I think it's worth that. The second thing you'll probably want to know about convention is that there's a track A and a track B. I think the majority of our team is on track B, and it really doesn't matter what track you're on, except that you want to be with your tribe of people. And so think about that if you're still trying to you're trying to resolve which track you're a part of. There's really not one that's better than the other, in my opinion. And then maybe some of you haven't got your tickets yet, and that's okay. Because, in fact, I am convinced, I believe, that there's probably somebody from my team that will come with me in September that hasn't even signed up yet to be an advocate. And that's okay, because there are people that maybe overbought, or like I bought for my husband, and now he's probably not going to be able to come. And so I'm going to have an extra ticket. And I know that that is happening throughout our entire team, and that it will also happen throughout all of Doterra. And so let your upline know, let your enroller know, let Jenni and Nathan know. I want to go to the convention. Can you help me get there? And guess what? They will help you get there. I will help you get there. And one last thing I want to share with you about convention that I think is really cool. It was shared with me that Ange Peters, who is a presidential diamond, actually I think she's a double presidential diamond now, she shared that when you have 100 people in your downline at convention, you're set. Financially, you're set for life, because 100 people, I mean, that's incredible. And I thought that was a really cool benchmark to think about. And I also heard another Blue Diamond, Ruth Gao. Her husband is a physician, and you'll probably hear him speak this year at convention. And she also shared that she has enjoyed watching every year her downline multiply year after year at convention. Last year, I had one of my awesome team members with me at convention, and so far this year, we've got 7 people that are coming from my team, and I'm just a sliver of the Team Elevate. And every year, we get to have a big Team Elevate picture taken, and I love watching that grow. And it's not that I'm watching that grow for financial independence or for financial success, but I'm watching it grow because for every single person that you see in that picture, that represents hundreds and then thousands of families that are being empowered by Doterra and by you. And so I want to challenge you to think right now about your mindset around convention. Why do you want to go to convention? It's not just to be with great people and to have a getaway. It is because the end result is that we get to empower not just your family and you, but hundreds and then thousands of families across the globe with these incredible oils and supplements. So those are my thoughts on convention, and I hope that convention is something that is on your radar. Hope you get to go. I look forward to meeting you. And if you ever have questions about convention, don't hesitate one bit to reach out to your enroller, to Jenni and Nathan. I'm also happy to answer questions about convention, and I hope that it is just it's a great time for all of us. So happy summer for everybody. I hope you're out selling oils and enjoying your family, and I'll see you later. Have a great evening.